The book of Joshua is a book of new beginnings. It's found in the Old Testament, right after the book of Deuteronomy. Imagine a vast desert, the Israelites wandering for 40 years. Their leader Moses has passed away. Now Joshua takes the lead. His mission: to lead God's people into the promised land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Joshua was Moses' assistant. He learned from the best. God chose him. He was a strong leader, full of courage. The people trusted him. The book is named after Joshua, but it's really God's story. It's a story about faith and obedience. It's about trusting God even when things get tough. The book of Joshua is a journey. It's a story about battles, miracles, and victories. It's about God keeping his promises to his people. It's a book that reminds us that God is always with us. He will never leave us, and he will always give us the strength to overcome any obstacle. The story begins with God commissioning Joshua. He tells Joshua to be strong and courageous. God promises to be with him always. This promise echoes throughout the book, giving Joshua and the Israelites strength. The first obstacle is the Jordan River. It's overflowing, impossible to cross, but God parts the waters just like he did at the Red Sea. The Israelites walk across on dry ground. It's a miracle. This event shows God's power. It reminds the people that God is faithful. They cross into the land, a land they've only dreamed of. The first city they encounter is Jericho. Jericho is a mighty fortress. Its walls seem impenetrable. God gives Joshua a strange battle plan. They are to march around the city once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, they march around 7 times. Then the priests blow their trumpets, the people shout, and the walls come crashing down. Jericho falls. This victory shows the importance of obedience. It shows that God can do the impossible. After Jericho, the Israelites face another challenge, the city of Ai. They suffer a defeat. This defeat highlights the consequences of disobedience. One man, Achan, had disobeyed God's commands. This sin affected the whole community. After dealing with Achan, the Israelites conquer Ai. Victory is restored when they follow God. The Israelites renew their covenant with God at Mount Ebal and Mount Gerizim. This is a reminder of their commitment to God. They read the law, they hear the blessings for obedience and the curses for disobedience. This ceremony emphasizes the importance of staying true to God. The land is then divided among the 12 tribes of Israel. This division represents the fulfillment of God's promise to Abraham. Each tribe receives a portion of the promised land. This act signifies the establishment of Israel in their new homeland. The conquest of Canaan wasn't just about physical battles, it was about spiritual warfare. The Israelites faced temptation. They faced opposition from other nations. Throughout these challenges, God remained faithful. He gave them victory after victory. But he also disciplined them when they disobeyed. The story of Achan is a powerful example. Achan took some of the forbidden spoils of war. This act of disobedience had consequences. The Israelites were defeated at Ai. This story teaches us that sin has consequences. It affects not only the individual but the entire community. When Achan confessed and repented, God forgave him. This act of forgiveness highlights God's mercy. Even when we fail, God is ready to forgive when we turn back to him. Section 5, Southern and Northern Campaigns, chapters 9 through 11. Chapters 9 through 11 describe the Israelites' military campaigns. They faced powerful kings and formidable armies. The Gibeonites tricked the Israelites into making a treaty with them. Even though deceived, Joshua honored the treaty. He showed that God's people keep their word. The Battle of Gibeon was a significant victory. God intervened supernaturally. He sent hailstones that killed more of the enemy than the Israelites' swords. This event demonstrated God's power over nature. It showed that he was fighting for his people. Joshua even commanded the sun and moon to stand still. This miraculous event allowed the Israelites to secure a crucial victory. The book describes the defeat of various kings and the conquest of their cities. This part of the story emphasizes God's faithfulness in fulfilling his promise. He gives the land of Canaan to his people. Section 6, Allotment of the Land and Joshua's Farewell, chapters 13 to 24. After the conquests, The land is distributed among the remaining tribes. This division signifies the fulfillment of God's promise. The Israelites have a place to call their own. Joshua, now old, gives his farewell address. He reminds the people of God's faithfulness. He urges them to remain faithful to God. He warns them against idolatry and intermarriage with other nations. He challenges them to choose whom they will serve. The people make a covenant with God. They reaffirm their commitment to follow him. Joshua's leadership is coming to an end. He has led the people into the promised land. He has shown them the importance of faith, courage, and obedience. He leaves behind a legacy of faithfulness. The book ends with the death of Joshua and Eleazar, the high priest. Their passing marks the end of an era, but the story of God's faithfulness continues. Section 7, Themes of Faith, Courage, and Obedience. The book of Joshua is a tapestry woven with vibrant threads of faith, courage, and obedience. It showcases the unwavering faith of a man chosen to lead a nation into a land promised by God. Joshua's unwavering trust in God's promises is evident throughout the narrative. From parting the Jordan River to the miraculous victory at Jericho, every event underscores the power of faith. The book calls us to embrace a similar faith. It encourages us to trust in God's promises, even when they seem impossible. Courage is another dominant theme. Joshua, facing powerful enemies and seemingly insurmountable odds, exemplifies courage. He leads the Israelites into battle, knowing that God is with them. The book inspires us to be courageous in the face of adversity. It reminds us that with God on our side, we can overcome any obstacle. Obedience to God's commands is central to the narrative. The Israelites' victories are a direct result of their obedience. Section 8, Key Figures, Joshua, Rahab, and Achan. The book of Joshua is populated with compelling characters who shape the narrative. Joshua, the successor to Moses, embodies leadership, courage, and unwavering faith. He stands as a testament to the transformative power of trusting in God's promises. Rahab, a Canaanite prostitute, demonstrates unexpected faith. She hides the Israelite spies and helps them escape. Her story highlights that God's grace extends to all who believe. Achan, on the other hand, serves as a cautionary tale. His act of disobedience, taking from the forbidden spoils of Jericho, brings disaster upon himself and the Israelites. His story underscores the importance of obedience to God's commands. These characters, each with their own flaws and strengths, contribute to the rich tapestry of the book of Joshua. They remind us that God works through ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary things. Section 9, The Enduring Legacy of Joshua, a Message for Today. The book of Joshua, though set in ancient times, carries a timeless message. It speaks to the human spirit, reminding us that with God, all things are possible. It encourages us to live lives of faith, courage, and obedience. The book's themes resonate with our own journeys. We face our own promised lands, dreams, aspirations, and challenges that lie ahead. Joshua's story inspires us to step into the unknown, trusting that God will be with us every step of the way. The book reminds us that obedience to God's commands is not about blind adherence to rules. It's about aligning our lives with His will, knowing that His ways are higher than our own. The book of Joshua is more than just a historical account. It's a source of encouragement, a call to action, and a reminder of God's unwavering faithfulness. It's a book that continues to inspire and challenge us today, urging us to live lives that reflect God's goodness and grace.